The story of Rose and the man standing alone in the rain reflects the value of giving. When we help others with all we have, it not only brings joy to the recipient, but also enriches our own lives, and perhaps it gives us a new family. Let us know where you're watching from. Now, relax and enjoy this amazing story. The evening sky darkened quickly as rain began to pour, creating small rivers along the edges of the road. Rose squinted through the windshield of her beat-up sedan, the wipers struggling to keep up with the downpour. It had been another long day. After pulling a double shift at the diner and picking up her 5-year-old daughter Daisy from her neighbor's house, Rose was exhausted. She was counting the minutes until they could get home, where a quick dinner and Daisy's bedtime routine awaited. Daisy hummed softly in the back seat, playing with a worn stuffed bunny. Her quiet voice was a small comfort to Rose. As Rose turned onto a quieter stretch of road just outside town, her headlights caught a figure standing on the shoulder. An elderly man, his silhouette slumped against the rain. He held a small suitcase in one hand while trying to shield himself with a thin jacket. Rose slowed the car and pulled over a few feet ahead of the man. She rolled down the passenger side window slightly, keeping one hand on the wheel. "Excuse me, sir. Are you all right?" The man shuffled closer, his face etched with fatigue and damp from the rain. "My bus was canceled. I was visiting my wife's grave and got stuck here. My phone's dead, and I've been trying to flag down a ride, but no luck." She knew what it was like to feel stranded, though her challenges weren't physical. She hesitated, weighing the risk of letting a stranger into her car. But then she saw the way the man's shoulders sagged, and his eyes, though tired, held a warmth that reminded her of her late father. "Where are you headed?" "Just a little ways out of town. It's about 20 miles. 20 miles wasn't a short distance, especially with gas prices rising and Rose's budget tighter than ever. But she couldn't leave him out in the storm. Taking a deep breath, she unlocked the passenger door. The man's face lit up with gratitude. "Thank you, young lady. You're very kind." Rose helped him load his suitcase into the trunk before he climbed into the car, carefully lowering himself into the seat. He turned to Daisy in the back and gave her a gentle smile. "What's your name?" "David Smith. And you?" "I'm Rose, and this is my daughter Daisy." "Thank you again, Rose. Not many people would stop these days. It's a good reminder that there's still kindness in the world." "It's no trouble. I just couldn't leave you out there." As they drove, David shared bits of his story. He had been married to his late wife, Morgan, for over 50 years, and visited her grave every year on the anniversary of her passing. This year, bad weather and a canceled bus had left him stranded. Rose found herself drawn to his soft-spoken nature and the clear love he still held for his wife. In turn, David asked about Rose's life, listening intently as she spoke about raising Daisy on her own and working long hours to make ends meet. They arrived at David's house, a modest but well-kept home nestled on a quiet street lined with tall oaks. David insisted on carrying his suitcase himself, but as he turned to thank Rose, he paused. "Please, this is my phone number. If you ever need anything at all, don't hesitate to call me." "Thank you, David." "No, thank you. You didn't have to stop, but you did. That kind of kindness matters." As Rose drove home, the rain finally beginning to let up, she tucked David's card into her purse. She doubted she would ever use it, but something about the encounter stayed with her. Daisy, now dozing in the back seat, looked peaceful. The days after Rose gave David a ride passed in their usual blur of work and motherhood. One evening, as she sat at the kitchen table balancing her checkbook and sipping on a cup of tea, Rose found herself thinking about David. It had been nearly a week since she'd seen him, and she couldn't help but wonder how he was doing. His kind eyes and warm smile had stayed with her, and despite her own challenges, she felt a pull to check in on him. Setting her tea aside, Rose pulled out her phone and dialed the number on the card. The line rang twice before she heard David's familiar voice on the other end. "Hello." "Hi, Mr. Smith. It's Rose. I just wanted to check in and see how you're doing." "Rose, what a pleasant surprise. I'm doing well, thanks to you. How are you and Daisy?" "We're good. I just wanted to make sure you got settled all right after that night." "I did, and I've been thinking about you and your kindness ever since. It's not often you meet someone willing to go out of their way for a stranger. Well, I'm glad I could help. If it were my dad in your position, I'd hope someone would stop for him too. Your dad must have been a good man to raise a daughter like you." "He was. He passed away a few years ago, but he always taught me to do the right thing. I can see he left a strong legacy in you. Rose, if it's not too much trouble, I was wondering if you might have some time to visit. I could use a bit of help around the house. Nothing major, just some small things I've been putting off." Rose thought about the request. She was already stretched thin, but something about David's tone made her want to say yes. The sincerity in his voice, and the fact that he had nobody else to turn to struck a chord. "Sure, I can stop by on Saturday morning. I'll drop Daisy off with my neighbor and come over." "That would be wonderful. I'll see you then, Rose, and thank you again." When Saturday morning arrived, Rose dropped Daisy off with her trusted neighbor and made her way to David's house. The sun was shining, melting away the last remnants of the storm that had brought them together. David greeted her at the door with a warm smile. "Good morning, Rose. Thank you for coming." "It's no problem. What do you need help with?" David led her into the living room, where several boxes were stacked neatly against one wall. "These are things I've been meaning to sort through for a while. Morgan, my late wife, was the organized one. I'm not so good at keeping up with it all." "I can help with that." Rose nodded, rolling up her sleeves. As they began unpacking the boxes, Rose found herself immersed in David's memories. Each item they uncovered seemed to hold a story. There were photo albums filled with pictures of a young David and Morgan on vacations, celebrating anniversaries, and hosting family gatherings. There were stacks of letters, postcards from faraway places, and keepsakes from their life together. "She sounds like she was an amazing woman." Rose was holding up a small embroidered handkerchief with Morgan's initials. Morgan had a way of making everything feel special, even the little things. As the morning wore on, Rose found herself opening up to David in return. She shared stories about her life, the challenges of raising Daisy on her own, and the dreams she once had for herself. David listened with genuine interest, offering words of encouragement that felt like a balm to Rose's often weary heart. "You've been through so much, but you've managed to stay strong. That's no small thing." "I just try to do my best for Daisy. She deserves a good life, even if it means I have to sacrifice a lot. She's lucky to have you, and from what I've seen, you're doing a wonderful job." Her friendship with David had started as a chance encounter, but it was quickly becoming something more, a connection that felt both meaningful and unexpected. She didn't know where it would lead, but for now, she was simply grateful for the kindness they had found in one another. One crisp Saturday morning, Rose arrived with a small loaf of banana bread wrapped in foil. "Daisy helped me bake this last night." "You're spoiling me, Rose." "Thank you. It's nothing. You've done so much for us. It's the least we can do." They sat in the kitchen, the scent of fresh coffee filling the air as David sliced the bread and poured 2 cups. Over the months, their conversations had become more personal, and Rose felt comfortable enough to share pieces of her life she hadn't told anyone else. "Sometimes I feel like I'm always one step away from everything falling apart. No matter how hard I work, it feels like there's never enough. And I want to give Daisy the world, but I'm just trying to keep us afloat." David listened intently, his expression thoughtful. "You're doing more than just keeping afloat, Rose. You're raising a bright, kind little girl, and you're doing it with grace. That's no small feat." "It doesn't always feel that way." "Well, sometimes it takes someone else to remind us of what we're doing right. You're doing right by Daisy, and that's what matters." Their conversation shifted to lighter topics, and after finishing their coffee, Rose helped David sort through a cabinet of old files in his study. As they worked, David paused, and turned to Rose with a serious expression. "Rose, I've been meaning to talk to you about something." "What is it?" David reached into his desk drawer and pulled out an envelope. "This is for you." "David, what's this?" "Just open it." Rose took the envelope and carefully opened it. Inside was a check for $150,000. Her breath caught, and she stared at the amount in disbelief. "David, I can't take this. This is too much." David smiled kindly. "It's not too much, Rose. It's just a small way to help you and Daisy. I've seen how hard you work, and I want to ease some of the weight you're carrying." Rose shook her head, sliding the envelope back toward him. "I appreciate the thought, but I can't accept this. You've already done so much for us. This is more than I could ever repay." "You don't need to repay. This isn't about repayment. It's about wanting to help someone who's become very important to me." "David, I don't even know what to say. Why would you do this for me?" "Rose, there's something I haven't told you. I didn't want it to change how you see me, but I think it's time you knew." "What do you mean?" "For most of my life, I ran a construction business. It was hard work, but it paid off. I built a comfortable life for Morgan and me, and when I sold the business, I retired with more money than I ever thought I'd have." "You're a millionaire?" "Yes, I am. But money has never been what matters most to me. It's the people in my life, the connections I've made. After Morgan passed, all that money felt meaningless. But then I met you and Daisy, and for the first time in a long while, I felt like I had a purpose again. Helping you is the least I can do." Rose was silent for a long moment, her hands clutching the envelope. She felt overwhelmed by the weight of David's kindness and the depth of his sincerity. Finally, she looked up at him, tears brimming in her eyes. "Thank you. I don't even know how to put into words what this means to me." "You don't need to. Just promise me one thing." "What's that?" "Promise me you'll use this to make life a little easier for yourself and Daisy. And when you're in a position to help someone else someday, don't hesitate." "I promise." As she left that day, the check tucked safely into her bag, Rose felt a sense of hope she hadn't felt in years. David's generosity wasn't just about the money, it was about the belief that brighter days were possible. In her heart, she knew she would carry his kindness with her, always. After David revealed the truth about his wealth and gave Rose the check, her world felt different. What stayed with her most wasn't the money, it was David's belief in her, his kindness, and the way he had opened his heart to her. And Daisy felt like a rare gift, one she wanted to honor in her own way. David had not only changed her life, but had shown her that even in the hardest of times, there was always room for connection, generosity, and the chance to build something beautiful together. The power of kindness doesn't stop at the present, it ripples through time, impacting generations. No matter how difficult life gets, there will always be someone willing to help and offer us a chance to change our circumstances if we are open to receiving it. Would you be willing to give a stranger a ride home, just like Rose did? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. If this story touched your heart, give it a like and share it with others. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to hear more inspiring stories. Goodbye, and see you soon.